ain't going back. Not gonna buy into all that. Hey, ain't gonna hide, gonna let all the fears slide. Got Mother Nature is on my side. Got all of the loving growing inside.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Autodidactic and the New Now. Our Practical Evolution for Life event is coming soon. I'm going to plug it right away. So basically, all of the recordings that Cambell and I are going to do over the next few months are going to be directly or indirectly related to that. And today's topic, shedding your illusions.
Ooh. Oh, I thought you froze there.
No, I'm just considering. So shedding.
Yes.
Getting
I was just considering the first few letters of that word.
Right.
Ill.
Ill? Oh, illusions. Yeah. Ill. So shedding your illnesses. Like, what does shedding even mean? What does a snake do when they're shedding? They're growing bigger, right? It's not a bad thing. What does, they have semis here, cicadias, and they shed their shells and then they grow wings afterwards, right? You see all of their shells all over the place. They come out of the ground after sitting there for a year. So let's say you want to talk about, growing up, getting awake, becoming free, having a better life. So everyone's living in a shell, let's say, of old ideas, of old ways of being alive, of illusions. If you like things that aren't real for them, or they've decided are no longer serving the purpose of their life, and then you're going to shed it, and you're going to shed. So what's
an illusion? That's a good question, to start with. And, it's not the dictionary definition, but an illusion really is when we believe anything that we can't confirm, that we haven't had personal experience with. And this is what the society is, right? This is what all this schooling, propaganda, blah, 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 that's moved into YouTube. This is all that this is someone telling us, we've had this thing with Intel, we're basically giving us information and then we believe it as fact, but we've got no basis. We've got nothing to prove it. It's just the only reason we believe it is because someone else believes it. And so it's just, it's jumping on the bandwagon, right? Taking the easy way out, really, and bypassing that going within process. Is this real? Do I believe it? Because, with me, all this information, I see it so often that people hear something, from a person and this guru thing, like, oh my God, it's the truth. And they just follow this, whatever this person says, it's all, true. But to me, everything's just interesting. It's just information. You just take it on. And then if you get more information that coincides with that and gives it more validity, then it becomes more real for you, right? And if you don't get that, then it becomes less real. But to get information to say that's the truth, because someone said it, is putting ourselves in a box of this reaction, of this putting, energy, whatever you want, out into the physical world, society, and expecting a result or waiting for the feedback, waiting for the result. That's a very small box, So I think there's definitely other ways that we can go about this. But yeah, that's the main point is what do you believe and why? Like, can you prove any of it?
I mean, we talked about detoxing or detoxing from the new age, and I'm going to put my hand up here and say I'm the first one that fell into that trap. I spent the first 30 years of my life living under the illusions of what the future could hold for me. You make money, you're happy, you get married, you make happy. Maybe you want to make some children when you're a young man, some children when you're a young man. You have your parents' belief systems or the ones you take on from your peers, from your TV. I fell into that trap from the media, from the schools you go to. And then, eventually you come to a point where you say, okay, that's bullshit. And then maybe you jump into your second age. We talked about that, the new age. But then I found I just took on a whole bunch of other illusions. And as Cambell said, that the perfect way to say that is it true or not? It doesn't really matter. If you haven't verified it for yourself, it's an illusion. It's a maybe, so, let's say you grew up one of the religions and they promise you something after you die, whatever that is. But the new age is the same, right? They're just promising you something after you die. You're going to be ascended. This is how you stay away from the white light. This is how you go into the purple light. This is how you grow your wings. This is how you get to the 5th and 7th and 8th, master chakra evolutionary, level of attainment and nirvana. But again, it's not something that you're living now. It's not something that you have now. It's another promise of the future, which makes it an illusion, because even if it's true at the moment, it's not. So if you're not there, you're really living a lie. You're living something that's not true. And that could be a good definition of illusion, is something you think is true but isn't, or a mirage, something that you can see through. And if you're not verifying it for yourself, whatever it is, if you're not taking this information and understanding it as something that's real, you're basically living something that, Campbell said too, something that you need to defend. Like, even I called out a couple of new age teachers, let's say, or new age information bringers in the last talk, and a few people got angry with me. And it's like, it's not the point. The point is, someone's telling you something is true. Whether the queen's a demon or a reptile, or the world banking system is trying to steal your babies, or they're going to chemtrail you into oblivion, or there's radiation coming out of your shoes, so your feet are going to fall off. I'm making fun of it on purpose, simply because we don't know. You don't know any of these things. The jab is horrible for you. Sure, maybe it is, or this is bad, or this is good. But unless you verify it for yourself, you're really standing in a place where you have to defend, right? Oh, no, you said, and then you start fighting your neighbor, you start fighting your mother, you start fighting your father, or you start fighting your friends because that's true. And I can't believe, and you can't believe you called this person a bad person. Oh, you're a bad man. And I just can't listen to anything you say. And none of it is of value unless it's helping you to live the kind of life you want to live, by verifying whatever it is you need to verify with your own two hands, let's say, or your own consciousness, your own energetic stance in life.
Yeah, your own experience.
Mm.
And before we started recording, you mentioned the ego is an echo, and that's sort of what working in the physical world is. The physical is where you got to go out and you got to move physical things around, right, to get some kind of response or reaction or experience. But that's within a frame, right? That's within a box. Basically, it's very, very limited. And the ego is just, like you said, trying to prove yourself right. People jump onto an idea and they have to defend it. Because they've given it charge, right? It's now in charge of them. They can't think anything else because it's the truth. It's the truth. You have to do this to go to heaven. God will save you. My God will save you. My God will save you. How can this is the thing? Like, how can it all be true, or how can it all be false? It's the truth is it's both, because the only thing that's real is what's real to us.
Mm.
And we live in this world where literally everything is an illusion, and we hear this a lot, right? It's all an illusion, but what does that mean? Well, what it means is it's all this information coming at us that we can't verify. And when we see it on the news.
Yeah, and it's not about it being an illusion of bad information, or illusion where it's not real. I think that's the other illusion, is even the illusion of illusions, right? The illusions that you're not taking your life serious, right? You say it's on an illusion, it's not real. So so the illusions of illusions even is what stops people. So if you're sitting there going if you're like one of the new age gurus says, nothing's real, it's all illusion, it's all Maya, but then you don't do anything. So that's the illusion. The illusion of the illusions are stopping you from even living your life. You go, it's not, because of course it's real. Your life is real. I pick up a pen. It doesn't matter what it's vibrating at. For me, it's real. I'm talking to Cambell. He's not here, but it's still real, as it's my experience of my life. So none of this is an illusion. The illusion is the information, like Cambell said, or the info, the fake that's coming in, that's telling you to do something or not do something. If you haven't verified it for yourself, or you're just believing someone's idea of your life, therein lies the illusion, because you're acting or not acting by taking someone else's perspective on what you can and can't do. And then therein lies, the waste of your life, because you're not verifying anything for yourself. So you're quite literally already dead, because you're not getting out of your own shell. We're talking this one, shedding the illusions and going out to see for yourself what life can be about, let alone what it is about.
And what is that shell, right? The shell, again, it's the construct around us. It's all the ideas that have already been used. Like literally all this stuff, it's all recycled. None of it's new, and we can't get to a place where we get, you want to call it insight or free thought, new ideas, unless we're following our intuition, right? The teacher within, our teacher within, right? The knowledge that we have. Because the way I look at it, like the construct, the construct society, culture, whatever you want to call it, this box that we've been raised in, it's very, very limited. right? It's only got certain outcomes, and most of it's like, two, right? Vote for this person or vote for this person, or this, or it's only left or right. But if you're listening and looking for signs in yourself, and you understand that you are, however you want to put it, a fractal of God, you are a part of the all, then anything's open to you. If you're getting inspiration from the outside world, that from the true nature, as far as looking at coincidences, looking at things that seem bright to you, things that keep popping up in your experience, and then going that and trying to verify things for yourself, then you're unlimited. Anything can be created. But when you're just looking at a reflection, oh, I've done this, so what's going to happen? Then you're in a box, man. You can only recreate, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all based on other people's opinions. So it's already been done.
And I'd like everyone to ask themselves a question next time they get some information. Is it empowering you, or is it caging you more? Right. So, you've got the gurus that are saying this is bad about the bank. Okay. And this is bad about climate change. And 2030 is coming, and the new reset, and the politicians are bad, or again, the elites are eating your babies, or it's like this freedom thing that's all over the place, or they're stealing this to doing that. Is it empowering you? Is it actually pointing to you and giving you the knowledge, the energy, and the direction you need? Like, this is the system you're living your life in, right? You're the one perceiving, you're the one acting, you're the one breathing, you're the one growing, you're the one reproducing. If you're making children, you're the one growing into something new. If you're not, you're dreaming. So how much of this information is allowing you to grow, right? How much of this information is giving you something that makes you want to go do something, that makes you want to get off your ass? Like, real information I was reading this morning is something that makes you act. It's non-negotiable. You get some information, you have no choice but to go do an action. Your house is on fire. You've got no choice. You got to move your ass, right? You get some information that, you've just drank some poison, I'm examining. You better get to the doctor. You better vomit. You better swallow some charcoal, or you're dead. That's real knowledge, right? Something that gives you no choice but to act. Oh my goodness, the dog is coming at me with bare teeth and it's going to bite my balls off. You better act, or else you're going to be ballless tomorrow, right? The rest of this information, you go, well, isn't that interesting? The queen's a demon. Isn't that interesting? The banks have been cheating me. Isn't that interesting? Really, I don't own the land because, or isn't that interesting? My social insurance number, and they're hiding gazillions of these fake dollars somewhere, and I got to fight. So you're sitting there, and none of that makes you act. In fact, what it does is it puts you back in the cage, and you go, wow, the queen's a bad person. The politicians is a bad person. My mother and my father gave me this horrible advice because of this. History was a lie. It's all probably true, but does it make you? Does it force you? Does it light a fire under your ass and say, oh my goodness, I better go change and do something? So I would feel that's where the shedding comes in, right? You see an illusion, you're feeling tight. Why does a snake shed, right? Why does an insect shed? Because they have to grow, right? It's their bodies got to go to the next level. So when you feel the need to shed, and it's non-negotiable, you don't have to argue with Ted. You don't have to argue with Bill. You don't have to get your friends to agree with you. It's just, a non-negotiable desire to get rid of your illusions, to grow, or else, you can't breathe anymore. You're going to die. It seems like maybe Campbell's frozen a bit over there. But when it's a real shedding of illusions, it's an action that takes hold of you and forces you, right? Literally forces you to go do something. And to me, that's where you see the real beyond information, but intelligence that allows you to grow. Because if it just makes you go, so the queen's bad, so Mr. Trump's bad, so whoever was running Australia is bad, or whoever's running Canada or New Zealand, these are all evil people. Wow, it's all their fault. You can see it doesn't do anything, right? You just sit down on your couch and you've got this other bag of blame.
Yeah. In the end, we're the ones that have to live our lives. And so this is it. Like, no one else has to, the person giving bad advice or whatever doesn't have to live your life. So, keep that in mind. But, this, with the banks, right, we hear a lot, oh, the banks are going to close, you need to have money. And so, we can take that information many ways. We can believe that wholeheartedly and go, oh my God, it's all collapsing. I need to get all my money out of the bank. And we can stress and, oh my God, now where do I hide the money? People are going to come and get it, and do all these things and sit there with it. Excuse me, sit there with a shotgun and guard the money. Or we can just go, oh, well, that might happen. I don't know. Maybe it's worth, having whatever, a few $100 cash in the house just in case. And then once you do that as well, how does it make you feel? Like, does that feel like something good, or does that, or is it like, oh, well, we don't pay attention to these things. We tend to do things without checking with ourselves. Is that right for me? We tend to check outside, right? We go, oh, is that right? Well, everyone else is saying it, that they're doing it, so it must be right. Well, that doesn't mean anything, because we're all different people. We've all got different lives. So what's right for someone else is not necessarily right for you. What's right for you is what makes you grow and expand and puts you back on your path, so you're moving forward. And when we're there, and I've said this a lot, we don't need to run around, telling people to change and telling people to wake up. You need to wake up, or, the earth is this shape. Can't you see it? Or can't you see this? They're all lizard people. Bloody hell, wake. That's not helping anyone. And all it's doing is cementing these ideas that aren't even ours. And as Lorenzo said before, it comes back to then putting a flag in the ground and saying, this is my truth, and pointing at everyone who's not on the hill with you. You're wrong because you don't believe with, as me. And what is that? That's division, right? And that's one thing that we, well, that at least I believe that's true is, one of their biggest weapons against us is to
divide us. I mean, think about all the prepping that's gone on over the last few years, and people having underground bunkers, right? And prepping for food and getting 10 years worth of dried, granola and putting it in a bait. Like, I've seen canned bread here in Japan for $10 for canned chocolate bread. It lasts 7 years. You're going, well, that seems useful. Literally, there's a few survival shelves, right? When you go into some of the stores and you're looking at like canned chocolate croissants, you're going, what are you guys thinking? Right? Yeah. Yeah, survival food. It's like, what are you thinking? So you're going to be like in your underground bunker. It's the end of the world. And you go, I feel like some tea and chocolate croissants today. I'm so happy I bought this, $10 canned chocolate bread, because now, because you can tell it's bullshit. It's so, you prep, but you don't change, right? Or you point fingers, but you don't change. Or like Campbell said, you store gold under your couch, or you store digital coins up your ass, with your encrypted key that's up your nose so no one can steal it. And I've seen the biggest assholes that have crypto. I've seen the biggest assholes that are prepping. I've heard all kinds of nasty things about, people that are supposedly, sharing these alternative ways to be alive. And nobody's really asking, where's this information coming from? How is it getting to me? Why is it promoted? Who is sharing it? Why is it being shared? And how is it helping me? Like to be alive in the best of ways. And again, really, when it comes down to you, it's like understanding your system, understanding yourself, understanding your imagination, understanding your intuition, understanding your potential. That's the real gold, right? That's the real alchemy. That's the real transformation. And how many people are pointing at that, these gurus? None of them really. They're just giving you another belief system. Nothing that gets verified.
Yeah, well, that's it. The 10-step plans and all this, and buy my book. It's got all the answers. It's like we said, there's no answers for you. So, I mean, these things are all, to me, they all have value, because there's always something in there you can get out of it if you're reading it as just, this is interesting. But if you're reading it as, oh my God, this is the way to change my life, this is the be all and end all, like a lot of people read religious books. When they get into them, there's no deviation, and you got to go straight down the path. And anyone who doesn't come with you, well, they're evil and they're going to hell. But even that, where does that information come from? Because the Bible wasn't written by God. It wasn't even written by Jesus. It was written by men after the fact, and then we know it was all this heavily, it was edited and all this kind of stuff. So what we've got with now is, in my opinion, it's fairly far from anything that Spirit would have said, but people take it as law, right? As this is the way to live life, and this is the way to blah, 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 blah. But how's it helping their life? How is it helping them? Because what happens is, to me, especially with religion, when people don't get the results they want, but they're so into the belief, they just start pointing the finger more, because it's easier for the ego to say, I'm right, because look at all these other people that believe what I believe, than to say, oh, I'm wrong. I went down the wrong path. This actually isn't fulfilling me. I'm actually not getting anything from this. I'm not growing. So I need to change and make a break and go somewhere else. That's hard, right? That is, especially if it's a religion. Trying to leave a religion and go, well, I just don't believe anymore. It's not helping me. It's a big thing. But people are so tied into these beliefs that other people give them that they won't do it, right? Because they want to be right, but that they're basing their right on the external, right? The feedback, not on what's actually helping them grow and go forward.
Yes, so imagine, if you like, with me, what if you do get everything you ask for, which I feel we do? What if you do see what you believe, which I feel we do? What if you do get a reflection of everything that you take as truth? Right. So the Jesus people are going to see Jesus. The Buddha people are going to see Buddha. The agnostic people are going to see nothing in that way. The people that believe they need gold are going to have that, response. The people that believe the world is full of lizards are going to see that. The people that believe the world has angels floating around and come to them in their dreams are going to see that. So you're going to get whatever you believe, whatever you see is true, whatever you're asking for, which is the beauty. If you like, nobody's really studying themselves. So if you get all this because you believe it's true, so you're just getting this reflection, an illusion. And so what's the point in arguing with someone? Because someone who knows Jesus is real is going to have that experience for their life, whatever that is for them. Someone who knows that, the reptilians run the world are going to see reptilians everywhere, because that's what the world, they're going to go, well, I want to see reptilians. And the world's going to go, okay, here you go. Right. So what if everything is that echo chamber? Right. So what if the key with your ego is to get out of your head? And that's the reason I suggested it's not because it's bad to think, or even if the archons are in there giving you thoughts, which I still believe they are, I still see that they are. But what if it's just a practical evolution, a practical step to get out of your own echo chamber, to get out of your own way, to get out of your own head, to kind of take a step back and to watch and to see and to understand, like, where are you getting your day-to-day inspirations for life? Where are you getting your day-to-day steps that you're going to take? Today, I'm going to do this. Today, I'm not going to do this. Today, I'm going to travel here. Today, I'm going to go meet Bill. Today, I'm going to do nothing, right? Today, I'm going to go, build a house. Like, where's all this coming from? Nobody really asks themselves, why is this information getting there? How is it getting there? Why are you even doing it? And more importantly, what's possible beyond the drudge of what you have to do when you shed those illusions, and what you can do, what's possible, how you grow up, and what is freedom? Right? What is all of this stuff? Like, what does it even mean? What is life for? I mean, it's the big question, right? Why are you alive? I'm thinking maybe, and I used to ask that myself even until yesterday, maybe it's better to ask how you're alive. You're alive because you're alive. It's a gift. Here you are. What's the point in even discussing it? Like, as long as you're alive, you're alive. Somehow you came here. Somehow you were born. Your parents decided to have children or not. It doesn't matter. Could have come out of a test tube. You could have come from under a cabbage. If you watch some of the other ones, doesn't matter how you got here. You're here. You're alive. You're breathing. You're conscious. Okay. So why? Maybe that's a waste of time. Maybe you're just alive to be alive. So maybe the next good big question after you shed all the illusions is, how are you alive? And how can you be alive?
Yeah, I mean, I think we take life far too seriously, and we're taught to. But I mean, the thing is, life can be an adventure, right? It can be a game, even. We can start to interact with it and look at it differently, rather than this. I need to get a job so I can get this, and this physical moving things around. It can be. And they're all based on getting somewhere, right? On like a perceived outcome, a perceived goal. I want to be rich, or I want to be good looking and fit, or I want to be wise, or whatever it is. That's that means you have to course correct your life so that you hit this goal. Perceivably, you're going to hit this goal at the end. But again, that's very closed, right? Like potential. Life is potential, right? There's so much more to it. So if we do start paying attention to what's really reflecting back at us, what really, matters to us, what makes us feel good, then we're going to go in a completely different direction, right? We're going to forge our own path, and we're going to be one of those people that people start looking at going, how did they do that? I mean, I didn't think that was possible. And the reason why is because it's not possible to people who are only looking for physical feedback. Unless you can trust and go somewhere different and really ask the bigger questions, then all you're going to get is whatever, so that's saying, right, if you do what everyone else does, you're going to get what everyone else gets. So if, the way to really grow, not to listen and get information and then put it into practice as far as, listening to gurus and do this and stand, 10 steps and all this kind of stuff, meditate 3 hours a day, or else you'll never transcend and all this stuff. And another one's, raise your vibration. You've got to raise your vibration. I mean, what does that even mean? We get all these concepts and we run around and, I'm awake, are you awake? Again, what does that even mean? People throw around all these terms without stopping and thinking, what does that mean? Am I awake? What even is awake? Does it even matter? Because like Lorinda said, that the only thing we really know is that we're here now and we're conscious of our experience. That's it.
That's it.
That's it, man. There's not much else. Everything else is perceived and made up and ego and all this other stuff, other people's opinions. So, maybe we should, shed that and start looking for our own path and trusting that the world around us is going to give us, hints. It's going to give us pointers. It's going to say, go this way, don't go that way. But we have to be aware of that.
I had my best friend the other day, even 3 or 4 or 5 days ago, say, Lorenzo, you're wrong about everything. Right. I almost got into an argument with him, right? He goes, basically, last 30 years, and I've spent time with him. He goes, we've been wrong about this, wrong about that, wrong about the new age, wrong about this, wrong about what you believed, wrong about all these things, wrong about the conversations with God books I've read, wrong about Osho. I used to follow him and his guru stuff, wrong about some of the Toltec, like just wrong. And like, I almost got angry, right? Because a part of me wanted to rail and scream and call him an asshole and say, fuck you, I never need to see you again. I can't, how dare you tell me, right? And instead I sat back and went, well, wait, and I had a bad few days. I couldn't sleep. My body was shaking. I felt really depressed for a little while. I didn't make any videos because I didn't want to, get out until I had cleared up my own energy. And then I said, well, wait a minute. What if I am wrong about everything? Right? What if this is just another set of beliefs? What if everything was an illusion and I just picked up new illusions, right? That before we did Detox, the new age. And then lo and behold, I feel like amazing now. I feel lighter. I feel, like what if raising your vibration is just dropping all your bullshit? That's it. You just drop all your crap, you drop all your beliefs, you drop everything you thought was true. And you have to, or you can be ready to sit with nothing. That's the scariest part. Ready to sit with no beliefs, ready to sit with no goals, ready to sit with nothing you need to do to feel better, ready to sit without finger pointing and that flag planting. I like how Cambell said that, and say, come to me, I'm right. Everyone, who's right with me? Who's right with me, right? Who's wrong over there? And to see like, okay, you've got nothing. You are nothing. You've dropped all your beliefs, your illusions, everything, from first breath to last breath. What do you do with that? I mean, that's how you get into the how, the perceptions. Okay, I'm alive. Great. Maybe you still need to work. Maybe you still have an electric bill to pay. I'm not saying you run away from your responsibilities because you made the life as it is. Maybe you've made children. But if you stop telling people, how they're wrong and you're right, you stop telling people how they should live their life. Basically what you're doing is you're making yourself feel better. That's about it, right? Obviously, if you listen to me, you'll be okay. And really what you're saying is, please listen to me so I feel okay, right? Yeah. That's always, yeah. That's always what you're saying. It's like, listen to me, you'll be good. Listen to me, you'll be right. Don't take that jab. Don't do this. That politician is horrible. How many mothers and fathers have we chatted with, Cambell, that says, if only my children listen to me because I know it's right and they know it and all. And it's like, so again, you're just trying to say, if you listen to me, I'll feel okay. And then I'll feel like I've made the right choices so I can relax instead of going, wait a minute, maybe you've made a whole bunch of horrible choices. Maybe you've been foolish like everyone. Maybe you've been stupid like everyone. And I'll talk about myself there. Like I've been as dumb as anyone on the planet in some of the things that I believed was true. And then, but from that, you can become smart, right? You go, oh, can't believe I did that for 30 years. Even if you did it for 61 years or 82 years, doesn't matter. If it's wrong for you, it's wrong. Stop and sing a new song. See what happens.
Yeah. And be brave enough to do that and trust in yourself that you're right for your life, for you. And then walk that path. Because I mean, at the end, if you don't, then what are you even doing with this consciousness, this life, this experience? You're just giving it over to someone else, So I've said it before. You don't want to be that person on their deathbed going, "If only," because all these people that say "if only," all they're saying is, "If only I was more of me. If only I lived my life. If only I didn't listen more to the outside world. That's all they say. You know, they say it in different ways, but that's it. Like, if only I just had taken my experience and lived it, right? And that's really, I think, where we all need to get to. And you know, we have all these, yeah, these things, and these parents and these relationships and children, and everyone's right. Everyone knows what's right for us, and we want to tell them we know what's right for them, but it's just ego. It's just trying to get confirmation, like Lorenzo said, that you're right. But what's the result of that? What do you get from that? Nothing. Like you might feel good, you know, for 5 minutes. Like you might think, oh, I'm so much smarter than them. Oh, look. And but what's the reality? Where are you a week later? Are you anywhere better? Because I've started seeing all these, you know, posts on social media, and they're things like, you know, this is my face when all the conspiracy theories I was saying for the last 3 years come true, or you know, this is me when all my family admit they were wrong and I was right. You know,
Mm.
it's all this kind of awake stuff. I've got the intel. I've got the truth. This is happening. This is happening. And you know, from my perspective, the truth is I've heard all this stuff that's happening, but I haven't seen any of it.
None.
Like, what's happened? What's changed? Like, all I've seen is people have gone into this and they've gone, I'm going to choose it. You know, I'm going to go.
Yeah, the world is waking up. Finally, the world is ascending. New Earth is coming. Oh my goodness, you know, finally the white hats are coming and the black hats are coming and the politicians are going to help us and this is going to change me. And then you understand, you know, maybe there is no reset. Maybe there is no new age. Maybe there is no ascension. Maybe there is no new earth. There's just you. I mean, how many people, you know, buy a car or a Ferrari or a new bit of technology and don't study the owner's manual, you know, and don't study what's possible? I mean, everyone's just taking in new programs, a reset, different program, reset, different diet, different money, you know, different, but who's studying themselves? Right? Who's studying the actual, I don't want to call it a machine, but the unit that you are, the energy you are, the beautiful gift you were given by the one thing we all get that's priceless: our life, our breath, our consciousness, our awareness, the ability we have that we're alive. It's like, what a waste to sit around and think some politician or some diet or some bit of gold or some bit of digital or some bit of somebody saying you're fantastic or somebody saying they even love you and you're not figuring out. What a waste to be waiting to collect these weird little trinkets and ideas and things instead of, you know, and then somehow thinking that that's your life, right? As the sand falls between your fingers when you're dying at the end of your days, going, wait a minute, I didn't follow my intuition. I didn't get to my imagination. I didn't get to my conscious level of potential. I didn't see what I can imagine and make and create for myself. You know, I was too busy following someone else's ideas, someone else's illusion of how I should be alive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this place that we are, this realm, it's much more, you know, amazing and wondrous, you know, than we've been told, like, clearly, right? But we don't get to experience that if we just run off other people's opinions. So, I was just thinking too, like, just imagine, you know, meeting your higher self, you know, when you do pass over, and they're like, "What? What did you do? What were you doing? Running around in circles for 30 years trying to please people, doing, I was trying to give you messages the whole time and you ignored me. Now, guess what? Back you go and do it properly this time." I mean, that's kind of how I see it, you know. I think if we don't learn and we live like, you know, an NPC, if we want to use that term, then you just got to come back and do it again anyway, right? So I think a big part of this is trust, you know, like we've said, you know, people love to point the finger because they think that makes them right. And especially if they've got a crowd with them, right? Look at all these other people that believe what I do. So clearly I'm right. But all that is it's just a block. It's just an easy way of not looking at what's real, at not looking at reality, and not looking at your life. And people don't like to look at the bad, right? They don't like to say, well, I stuffed up. Look at my life. Oh my God, my car's falling apart. I've got no money. And this is a big one that Lorenzo and I hear a lot, you know, this whole, the system's evil. And look, it's definitely not set up for us, but if it's evil and everything's in its evil, and so you can't participate and you know, I'm not getting a job and I'm not doing this and that, how's your life turning out with all those decisions? Because if you end up sitting in squalor, begging for food, then you've got a pretty crap life, right? And you might feel, oh, well, I'm right though, because I'm not participating. Well, this is it. This is life. This is the experience. This is where we are. And of course, we all want to change things and we want things to be different and, perceivably better. But the truth is, you're here right now. This is the system you're in. This is the world around you. This is what we've got to use. And that's reality, because you have to live your life, and that's reality. Someone else's, perspective or opinion, of the world is this and it's run by these people and you need to do this. That's not your reality, and you never get to experience that. So again, what are all these decisions and beliefs giving you? How are you living?
If you figure out for yourself, maybe you don't like reality, maybe you don't like the monetary system, maybe you don't like the food you're eating, go ahead, make some changes. I am never ever again going to tell anyone what to do, and I don't want anyone to take this video the wrong way. It's simple logic and practical, that if you don't understand yourself, you don't understand anything, because you are the one living your life. So that's not really telling you what to do. That's basically suggesting that if you want a better life, good place to start is to understand yourself, right? To understand, what you're doing and why. It's like money's not bad and money's not good, and food's not bad and food's not good. And, but how it affects you, right? If you live your whole life trying to save money, sure, it's bad. If you go out and slaughter 1,000 cows and you do nothing but eat them, and so you have to deal with that energy, that's your experience for your life. And I'm not saying you should do any or not do any of those things, but maybe when Cambell said at the end of the days, maybe we become our illusions. So when we die, it's natural that you shed your illusions, right? So of course, then you're gone. But if you get rid of your illusions and you go to your core, who knows what's possible after that? Maybe that's how you don't go to the white light or the blue light, or you get to carry on, or you get to ascend. Maybe you have to ascend past your own stink. How many people want to see that? They have to ascend past their own bullshit, right? They have to be free of their own garbage. And again, then no one's telling you what to do. You decide what your garbage is. You decide what your illusions are. You decide what stinks when you wake up in the morning. You decide what's working and what's not working for yourself. You can take someone's advice and say, well, this worked for Cambell. Maybe I'll try it. This worked for Billy. Maybe I'll try it, but not like Cambell said it's true, so it's true. Sally said I shouldn't do this, so I won't do that. It's more like Sally recommended this. Let's check it out. Go verify it for yourself if you feel like you want to.
Yeah. Just, it's all got to come back to you. You've got to make the decisions. You've got to trust yourself, or else you're just not living your life. So, I think I'm starting to repeat myself here, but this is the thing, like that we want to, get across is you're living your life. So what are the experiences? If they're not good, change what you're doing. If they're turning out well, do more of that. Keep going down that path, whatever, until you need to change. Because that's the other thing. We don't want everything to be good. You can't learn if there's no adversity, right? We've got this thing, like forged in fire, right? It does take challenges and things for us to grow and to see more. So, how are you seeing life? Do you want everything just to be easy? Because that's that's why a lot of people start listening to experts and other people, because they just want it to be easy. And I get it, but what does that mean in the bigger picture? Because we are much more than this life in the end. And the way I see it is we're just here to grow, to expand, to get a better view, to see more. So if we're not doing that, then what's even the point? We're basically just walking around in circles until we die, right? Really, have a think about it. Like, you're here now experiencing your life. What are you doing with it? And are you doing something with it, or is it all someone else?
Yeah. So I want to give everyone a hint here on the way out, let's say, this conversation, to our practical evolution for life, October 6th, 7th, and 8th in Florida. Cambell and I are going to be there. We'd love to see you there too. Details will be below. So imagine, what is the unknown? Okay, so this is the bit of practical evolution. So unknown, consider that for a moment. How many people actually, adults, really will get to a point where they believe they don't know something? Right? It's really hard for people to understand. They think, I know, I'm a knower, I have knowledge. Who's going to sit imagine the unknown. You can't. It's unknown. Something you don't have yet for your life. So getting a new power, getting a new way to be, getting a new notion of how to be alive, by definition, comes from something you don't know in the now, in the moment, right? So by allowing the illusions to go, by allowing things to drop and letting something new to come in, whatever that is, a new way to be, a new direction, a new food, a new fruit, a new, even a new power, call it a superpower if you like, but a new way that you can use your intuition and imagination to create life. You can't possibly know how good that is until you let it come into your life. So, Cambell and I have talked about a million times, I was wrong, how good it is to be wrong. This is the beauty of being wrong. It's an amazing superpower, because by being wrong, you are making space for the unknown. If you believe in spirit, if you believe in God, if you believe in the angel, whatever you believe in, a higher power, Buddha. But if you're wrong, you can allow the new to kind of flow into you. You can allow this intuition to grow, but you have to make space, right? If you have to allow this new light, this new way, this new being, this new energy, this new information somehow to get into your system, somehow to come into your life. We've talked about the recapitulation. Just look at your life clearly. It's your life. Understand what's worked for you. Understand what hasn't worked for you. Make sure you can see for yourself whatever illusions you're still holding. And it's guaranteed you are. It's guaranteed I am. It's guaranteed Cambell is. We still all have illusions. Every day you're changing if you're living a happy, proper life. And by putting them down, you can shed those illusions and allow, simply by being wrong, something beautiful to grow in your life, something you didn't expect.
Indeed, yeah. So start paying attention to the outside world and to what messages are really coming into you, and maybe less, attention to people who are telling you what you should do, and to the system in general, right? Because we do get feedback from television and all this stuff, right? Look, I'm watching the news. See, I was right. Biden's definitely a senile old man. Well, who cares? Because that only matters if he's a leader for you, right? Which makes you a follower, right? So don't be a follower, because that's just trying to live someone else's life, right? And don't, that doesn't mean you have to be a leader. What it means is you have to be your leader. Lead your own life. You don't have to go out and tell other people to follow you. Just lead your own life, and see what happens. And I think that's the biggest thing, is just give it a go, guys. See, and base it on the results. What results are you getting? That worked. Okay, keep going. That didn't. Okay, gonna not do that anymore. And I think it's really that simple.
Don't be afraid.
Complicate this stuff.
Yeah, don't be afraid of dying. You're going to die anyways. Don't be afraid of failure. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. Don't be afraid of being hungry. It's a good thing. Don't be afraid of being uncomfortable. That's fine. Some of the best, most amazing times in my life have come from almost dying, almost having nothing, being super uncomfortable. And at the end, you go, well, that was worth it, but you don't know at the time, right? So allow this discomfort, allow failure, allow death to come, allow it all to come. It's like, what do you, like, you can't, no one can push death away forever. It's coming for you. So forget about it, right? Being uncomfortable is great. You go camping, you climb a mountain. It's not comfortable, but it's beautiful. The visions you get afterwards. If you got to change a job, you got to leave a relationship, you got to disagree with your children, you got to disagree with your parents. Who cares, right? What you should really be afraid of, as Cambell said, is not living to your highest potential, of not living to what you came to do here, of not understanding yourself and growing to where you would like to go. So shed it all, see what's standing there, and take a chance. What do you got to lose?
Yep. And don't judge circumstance. Judge people. Judge people. If people are bad and give you bad, to judge them as that. But don't judge your circumstance. If you're somewhere where you're hungry, don't be, oh, well, woe is me, this sucks, oh my God, how did I get here? Just, go with it. How do I get out of here? Why am I here? What's the lesson here? Maybe it's just so that the next meal you have is the best meal you've ever had, right? Because you haven't eaten for a week. Who knows? But if we start judging circumstance, then, because, we're going to be wrong, I guess is what I'm trying to say. 100% of the time you're going to be wrong. So why do it anyway? Just, look for the lesson. Look, if it's an obstacle, how do you get over it? And then start to walk your path.
So join us for Practical Evolution for Life, our event. If you can make it, come. There's going to be nothing like it anywhere ever. Cambell and I have put this together Spirit's helping us out. The fellow Nalandero who said we can mention his name is helping us out. Every time there's been a problem, it's fixed itself. I have no idea how we're getting there. I had no idea how it's coming into fruition. I had to go through Vancouver. I'm going to share a little bit of a story, right? Then I found the hotels are ridiculously expensive. I got to spend a week there, $250 a night, $300 a night. I said, I don't want to spend $2,000 just to be there. I'm not even sure what to do. I just wrote, and I saw an email come through just now, a friend that I said, hey, can we crash with you? Because I know he's got a small place to get. I've got a tent. I can set you up in the backyard. I can run some power to it. You can stay here for free for a week. No problem. Right. And I just got this information after sweating. So this was the unknown that came. I said, Jesus, I have to go do this event. It's so expensive to fly. I don't know how I'm going to pull all of this off. I don't know how I'm going to get there and afford to do everything I need to do to get there. And by acting on it and by trusting and by seeing maybe there's an alternative way around, the world said, don't worry about it. This is how you can get there. It's all groovy. I might be a little uncomfortable sleeping in a tent, but beautiful for the experience. It's going to bring, it's going to bring me exactly. I love tenting, actually. It's going to bring me to where we're going to be able to share our path and guaranteed this event is still 3 months away? August, September, October. It's still 3 months away. We're going to have many more stories to share with you, many more practical steps that you can take and many more ways that you can be how you need to be. And early bird pricing just till August 12th. So check out below. Come join us. We'd love to see you there.
Indeed. So there you go, guys. Thanks for spending some time with us. Hope you got something from that. Please give us a like. Share this around if you like the information. And of course, like Lorenzo said, if you want to support us or check out more about the course, you'll find links below. And we'll be back on Friday, 8 o'clock Australia time, Eastern Standard Time, wherever that is, wherever you are, with another live.
Yeah, we're happy to see you there. Thank you so much. I love you all very much. We'll get this up soon. Shedding your illusions. It's painful, it's hard, it's horrible, but it's worse than not doing it. And let's see what's behind all of the things we thought were true so something better can grow for you. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Can't make me lie to my heart. No one tells me where I should start. Freedom first is what I say. Nothing now gonna get in my way. Hey, you can come too. Doesn't matter, you're wearing no shoes.